One member, Mr. Sines. Item number 3 is a public hearing to receive citizens' comments on land use assumptions and proposed impact fees capital improvement plan.
I'll go ahead and jump in on that.
Okay.
I have for you guys.
I'm not sure we're ready for that. This is for citizens to make comments.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure y'all have the background.
Okay. Because we do have you as agenda item number 7 for a presentation of recommendations. If there's no citizens' comments, we'll move on to item number 4, which is the mayor's message. I just have 2 items. One is there is a social at the community center across the street. There's going to be, I believe, light food and beverages available. It started at 6, so if you'd like to go after the meeting, I'm sure they would welcome that. And item number 2 is I was sent a letter by the Community Council of South Central Texas. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary for Communities in Action and the War on Poverty. And they asked me to read a proclamation, so I'll stand to read that. Whereas the Community Council of South Central Texas Incorporated was established as a community action agency on May 11th, 1965, and whereas the service area encompasses the South Central Texas counties of Atascosa, Bandera, Comal, Edwards, Frio, Gillespie, Guadalupe, Karnes, Kendall, Kinney, Kerr, Medina, Real, Uvalde, Valverde, Wilson, and Zavala, and whereas community action agencies were created when the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964 was signed into law, and whereas community action agencies have a 50-year history of promoting self-sufficiency for the limited income, and whereas community action agencies have made an essential contribution to individuals and families in Texas by providing them with innovative and cost-effective programs, and whereas community action agencies are needed as major participants in the reform of the welfare system as we know it, and whereas the limited income continue to need opportunity to improve their lives and their living conditions, thus ensuring that all citizens are able to live in dignity, and whereas Texas and the entire United States must continue to promote economic security by providing support and opportunity for all citizens in need of assistance. Now, therefore, in honor of 50th anniversary of Community Action, I, Clinton J. Powell, Mayor of the City of Pleasanton, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 2014 as Community Action Month in Pleasanton, Texas, in recognition of the hard work and dedication of Pleasanton's Community Action Agency. In testimony thereof, I hereto set my hand and cause to be affixed the Great Seal of the City of Pleasanton, Texas, on the 28th day of May 2014. It's really late in the month, but they didn't send it to me until just recently, so. Mr. Robasso, I'll give this to you to take to Mr. Robasso. Just was expecting her to be here. Item number 5 is discussion action to direct city staff to purchase 2 new police vehicles. Chief. Oh, that's right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for coming out on non-regular meeting night. I'm just going to introduce this item and let the chief do the presentation. As we were going through the potential for the draft budget in the police department several weeks ago, it came to our attention with the chief programming 2 more Tahoes in to transition out 2 of the Crown Victorias that have already been transitioned out and are down there in the public works yard, that the price for the Tahoes next year had gone up substantially. Chief and I talked about, visited about calling Caldwell Chevrolet, who is part of the Houston Galveston Area Cooperative and Authorized Government site. They do a lot of public safety vehicles, to see if there were 2 of this year's models still left on the lot, knowing that we probably didn't have much of a shot because most police agencies and most public safety agencies, they order all their vehicles pretty early on in the year. Well, as luck would have it, there were 2 royal blue Tahoes on the lot. And so the chief has a presentation tonight on the amount of money we can save the taxpayers of Pleasanton if we can get direction to buy those tonight, as well as some radios, the next item on the agenda. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
As Mr. Pearson stated, while working on our draft budget, We're trying to buy two Chevrolet Tahoes 2015 models. Fully equipped, ready to go on patrol. We're looking at about $95,862 for two of them. If they've got two of the blue ones right now, they're 2014 models. They're new. They have the 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty on them. We can buy them both and outfit them ready for patrol for about $80,710, which would be a savings of $15,152 if we buy the 2014 models over the 2015s. He's promised us that he can deliver them by the end of July, which would be great. If we order the 2015 models, of course, we'll order them in October. We usually don't get them till around March or April because of the onslaught with everyone's budgets. So I think this is a good opportunity for us and an excellent opportunity to save our taxpayers $15,000.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos?
I have a question and I'll be ready to make a motion.
Please.
What was the amount? Because the amount here for the 2014 is $93,410.98, and you had said 80?
No, that was for the other model.
That's the turnkey price.
Okay, is that what you're
Right.
asking for, Chief?
Right, and then we'll still have to be, we're responsible for the laptop computer and all of that. So the total comes out to $93,410.
Okay, Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion.
Please.
I move to approve the city staff to purchase two 2014 Chevrolet Tahoes from Caldwell County Chevrolet and all the equipment necessary to make them ready for patrol for a total price of $93,410.98, and the transfer of the funds from the general fund fund balance to make the purchase.
Second.
Moved and seconded to direct the city staff to purchase two 2014 Chevrolet Tahoes from Caldwell County Chevrolet and all the equipment necessary to make them ready for patrol for a total price of $93,410.98, and transfer the funds from the general fund balance to make the purchases. Any discussion?
I just have a quick question for
Mr.
Maria.
Gagos.
Maria, did you get that? Because that is what is recommended. It's exactly worded that way. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Discussion? None to proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion action, direct city staff to purchase two handheld radios for the police department.
We've got an opportunity to purchase 14 Motorola handheld radios. Ours are at the very near the end of their service life, and we're in need of some. We've been in contact with their Motorola representative, and of course he bought us the one with all the bells and whistles, and we don't necessarily need the one with all the bells and whistles. They've got a more economical model that would suit our new dispatch console just fine, and the price comparison, it'd be a savings of about $3,291.40 we would save. He would charge us, the total price for all 14 would be $14,994, as opposed to the high-end model, which would have been $18,285. We'd be looking at a savings of $3,291, plus they will charge us $140 to program them all of them, one fee, $140.
Mayor?
Mayor,
Ms. Israel.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to direct the city staff to purchase 14 Motorola XTS 1500 handheld radios for a total price of $14,994 plus a $140 program, the radios for a total of $15,134, and transfer the funds from the general fund balance to make the purchase.
second.
Direct the city staff to purchase 14 Motorola XTS 1,500 handheld radios, a total price of $14,994, plus 140 program for radios, for a total of $15,134, and transfer funds from the general fund balance to make the purchase. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Ms. Israel?
I'd like to ask what type of warranty we get on this equipment.
These have a 3-year.
A 3-year warranty?
Other discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We appreciate it very
Thank you,
much.
Chief.
Thank you.
The budget amendment ordinance in the near short term for that fund balance transfer.
We'll wait for that. Item number 7, presentation and recommendation of the Impact Fee Advisory Committee on Land Use Assumptions and Proposed Impact Fee Capital Improvement Plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize earlier, I currently didn't have an updated copy of the agenda.
Oh, no problem.
But I did want to pass out a
Thank you.
copy of the draft impact study. We met 2 weeks ago with the Impact Fee Advisory Committee, which is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the first kind of real look at the impact fee study. We built upon the recently adopted master plan with the future land use assumptions, and we built upon the master plan CIP list and narrowed down the specific CIP projects that would be impact fee eligible. We had a great bit of discussion about what constitutes an eligible project, how we computed the land use assumptions, and I'm prepared to go into all that detail if you want. However, I'll just tell you based on this agenda item here that really the Impact Fee Advisory Committee had voted to recommend adoption of the land use assumptions and the CIP. That was their motion from last time to pull that together in the form of a letter to you, and so we'll have that to you formally in the form of a letter from the Impact Fee Committee. But I just wanted to report, Mr. Frankie is here as the chairman of that committee. That was the desire and the direction from that committee to adopt the land use assumptions and the CIP. We're going to tonight we had earlier a public hearing for citizen comment on that. Our next meeting, we're going to have an action item on there for you to consider adopting the land use assumptions and CIP, and that'll be next time. But tonight it was really just get the public hearing out, make sure that if there's anybody interested in the public that wanted to speak on it, that they could, and also make you aware officially that the Impact Fee Committee had recommended approval. So I'm happy to go into any detail. I have some materials here. I have a map in the back.
I think what would be appropriate if you could maybe hit some just high spots, because we obviously just got this, and I'd like to read it before.
Right, and that's why we're not asking you to take any action tonight. But really, we started with the future land use assumptions. We used a probability weighting exercise, and then broke down essentially how we thought the city was most likely to develop, in what direction, over the next 10 years based on our original future land use plan. And we used that as the basis for calculating the demands to the water system and the flows that would be generated for the wastewater system. We came up with a list of capital projects that were necessary to allow for new growth. So in other words, projects that serve existing development only cannot be eligible for impact fees. Projects that serve existing and new growth can potentially be eligible for impact fee assessment, but you have to go through some more detailed exercise that we don't have the modeling in place to be able to do that yet. So regardless, what we found was a list of projects that we've included. You can see them on, I'll find the correct page here for you. Page 14, section 2.7 is the list of water system projects, starting with project W2B, and project W5. Those are straight out of our adopted CIP. We've just been able to determine that those are exclusively for new growth. That's on the water side. On the wastewater side, page 20, we have 3 projects that are listed that serve exclusively new growth, and those apply only to the Galvan Creek sewer shed. So those areas that would be within the Galvan Creek area.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel?
may I ask a question, please? I was looking over the projects, and as far as elevated storage tanks are concerned, I don't see the mayor's one. The one in his backyard that's going to be on Crestline. Is that an addition?
It's not a part of it because that tank has the potential to serve existing customers.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
And I have one question. Is there any way, and email would be fine, to get color copies of like page 9, 15, and the appendixes?
Sure.
That way we can really kind of,
This is a PDF document, and I'm happy.
if you could
Happy
get
to
that
share
and they
that.
could disseminate it to us too, then,
Absolutely.
great. Council, any other questions?
Let me ask a question here, and we've covered this in the previous meeting. Existing building, business moves out. New business comes in, turn the water on. Subject to impact fees?
If they're not changing the meter size, then they're not.
No.
Because that's already an existing customer. We've already spent that money to provide that service and get that service in place.
Developer comes in, sits down with Mr. Metting, Mr. Weezar. We go through the concept, architects on board, civil engineers on board. We're buying this property out here. We're gonna build this building. We need this size meter, fire line, irrigation, and sewer connection. Subject to impact fees?
Are you pulling a new meter?
Yes.
And then on the sewer, is it within the Galvan Creek sewer shed as we've defined in the study?
There you go.
Okay. And then yes, it would be impact fee eligible.
Oh, I don't think we have any other questions at this point.
Yeah, it's mostly for the presentation and for the public to have an opportunity to present questions or.
Is this something we can make available on the website? Is it something we can make available on the website? Or is this the last hearing that we're gonna have?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the purposes of this meeting, Mr. Stewart, where does the council go from here? What's next?
Yeah, okay. So I appreciate y'all, first of all, coming to do a special public hearing. That was because we're trying to follow the statutory timelines for doing the notice and making sure that we do it so many days ahead of this and that. The next item is at your June 5th meeting. We'll have an ordinance coming to you for adoption of the land use assumptions in the CIP, which are contained here. Okay, the first 2 chapters essentially of this report. From there, we'll also do a resolution to set the hearing date for the impact fee calculation part, which is the second half of the process. So we'll be setting a date for a future public hearing, which I'm targeting right now for July 9th. And then following that, July 17th, we would have the final ordinance that would adopt the fee. So again, it's kind of a 2-part process. You start with the land use assumptions in the CIP. Once everyone's in agreement on that, then we calculate the fee. And once everybody's in agreement on that, then we adopt.
What did you say again in July, Chris, those dates?
So July 9th
Okay.
is what I've targeted.
For the resolution.
That's another special meeting.
For the second hearing?
For the second hearing on the impact fee, which is
Okay.
the stuff that the committee went through tonight.
Okay. And first and second reading of the ordinance for possible adoption is when?
The first reading of the ordinance would be July 17th, is what I'm proposing. And that's just
That would be the second regular meeting in July.
Well,
And then
is
the
that-
first meeting in August would be the second reading and
Yeah,
possible
since you
adoption.
guys, I'm sorry, you guys do this, 2 readings,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
you just have to take action on it within 30 days after having that, the public hearing on the impact fee.
I think that first meeting in August is the 7th.
Okay.
And you are
Mistaken.
correct.
So that'd be right at 29 days, wouldn't it, from the 9th of July?
Once you take that, have that first reading, then you've met your statutory obligation,
okay.
so.
Okay.
So, and also include the schedule.
Yeah.
If you don't have a copy of that already, I'll include that in the PDF
Okay.
materials that I sent to you.
I think you all had that schedule in a spreadsheet form presented a meeting or so ago.
It
We'll
looks
make
like
sure we
this.
get it back to you all.
It has, this one's not the color one, so you can't see the Aggies and the Longhorns and the Baylor Bears, but that's that schedule that we had worked out to
I
make
remember
sure
that now.
our loyalties were taken care of. I knew you would know that. When you're talking about impact fees.
Any action required by the council tonight?
I don't think we can take any per the item.
I don't
No,
think so.
there was none required. It's just that the public hearing, holding the public hearing was the main thing.
I don't think there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you all again.
Yep, we'll see you soon, next week.
All right. Council item number 8.
Mayor, I move to
Geis.
adjourn.
Moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 7:28 PM. 6:28 PM.